everybody. Welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel. This is my reality. Alexa, stop. We're here to talk about the crumbling empire that Jay-Z has built and Beyonce has built. So let's just get without a further. Oh, and I'm making chicken. So without a further ado, let's just get into it. Let's see. This is Sloan Bella talking about Jay-Z.
With another energetically channeled video. Now, this person is alive currently, and this is the energy around the circumstances. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, immediately, I pick up the year 2036. Now, that's, what is that, 12 years from now? So 2036 is a key playing time for the ending of this person's reign of power, systematically following through until that time frame, but completely eradicated at that time. So the energy of this person's empire is slowly collapsing. Now, when you look at a person's empire or what they produce or what they create, that extends to family members and everybody down the line. Okay. So systematically, which is really interesting because what I get is this particular person who has acquired, probably was the first hip hop billionaire in 2019. So they say, has acquired so much wealth and power over the masses, along with his very famous wife. And when you look at it, they're very famous children, because of course, when the parents are celebrities, the children come into play in the public eye. But this particular person is winding down energetically. And I see a complete brick wall shut right in front of this person. So no matter how they try to get around what is coming for them, by the year 2036, we are done. So 2030.
If no one ever taught you how to manage your money, or you're secretly ashamed of where you're at financially, this is for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. And this might be
2036. So as soon as we hit the agenda of 2030, 6 years later, we're done. So this particular powerful person no longer has reign over what is going on in the public eye, okay, or in the music industry. There is a complete takedown of this energy right now. And I go through so many people around him. It's not just him. He's the one that took the bait and took the power. But remember, when you take the power, they're always coming for your power. We see that everywhere we go. We see that in any business, little restaurants, all the way up to huge corporations, to huge public celebrities. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about Jay-Z, if you didn't figure it out, with his very famous wife. And there was a lot of stuff online that had him as a Pisces rising. You know me, I'm not going to buy that when you're that articulate. He's pretty articulate and pretty focused. Perhaps that's not going to be Pisces rising. I found other sources, more other sources that put him at a Virgo rising, which makes perfect sense to me, given that he married a Virgo and that Virgo plays an integral role in his power. So I'm talking about Jay-Z, who was born on December 4th of 1969. He is an Earth rooster. Now it's interesting because roosters are the bossies of the zodiac, Chinese astrology. They are the directors, the dictators. So they're going to tell you how it's done, which really, when you're in a position of power career-wise, this would be something that would be a benefit to your personality. So he is an Earth rooster, controlled and possessed by earthbound things. Okay, so the things that we manifest on Earth, you know, the money, the power, the fame that we're taught here. We're born into families and we just grow up and we're told, you know, you want to aspire to be this guy because he's a billionaire. And they all have fake stories. Now, I want to point that out. Fake stories about the nonsense on how they started and how they got to where they are. That's not entirely true. So I never want anybody to believe these stories of rags to riches bullshit, because it's bullshit. Anyway, energetically speaking, Jay-Z is a Libra moon, sun in Sagittarius, and Virgo rising. Now, what I found so interesting is he has Pluto on the ascendant. It's not a tight conjunction, but it is within orb of a conjunction. Okay, so orb degree of a conjunction. So when we have Pluto close to the ascendant, number one, that acts, regardless of the sign it's in, okay, it acts like a Scorpio rising. So we are never going to know the truth about this person, because Pluto on the ascendant is like, I either invite you in or I shut the door. Okay, the door is being shut on him right now, by the way. Anyway, he is a Virgo rising, Pluto in Virgo on the ascendant. Now, Pluto is out of sign conjunction to the moon in Libra. Beyonce has a Libra rising, according to online, and she is a Virgo. So this makes perfect sense. Her sun sits on his ascendant. His moon, it's a mutual reception. His moon sits on her ascendant. On an emotional level, she is exactly what he envisions for himself. Exactly that. Now, he has an out of sign conjunction from Pluto to the moon, and then conjunct Uranus. Now, that is very hard to control in Libra. It's also unique. So the way that he thinks on an emotional level, and the way that his women are, starting with his mother, all the way back to his mother and any female relatives that kind of shaped who he is, it's an ingenious type of energy because it's connected to Uranus. And Uranus in Libra is creatively, well, number one, it's visually, creatively, artistically, aesthetically pleasing to the public. So there would be that. Now, Uranus is conjunct the second house. You can be damn sure this man uses astrology. I'm going to say that. He uses astrology and he makes his money in unique and odd ways, which he does have facets in clothing and alcohol. A lot like the P. Diddy shit, which is code for I need to get rid of mass amounts of money from other type of work I'm doing. And how do I do that? I open up businesses and I run my money through these different businesses. This is just what I see with this. So he's got Uranus conjuncting the second house. Neptune conjunct Venus in Scorpio. Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, Venus in Scorpio is a sneaky one because it starts off all sexual for the purpose of sex. Like, I want to get with you. Neptune is there, which adds a spiritual element and or a delusional element. Okay. Could be delusional or spiritual or spiritually delusional. Like, this is my queen and I'm her king and we're going to be together as they act in public. In the lay terms with people in day-to-day life, Venus conjunct Neptune can be very difficult because you don't see the person as they are. You can hold them on a pedestal and devalue them equally as quickly, which can be very difficult for the relationship if you're the one being devalued or put on a pedestal, because nobody wants either one. You just want to be seen as you are, actually, technically. So we have Sun and Mercury conjunct in Sag. Now, this is a smart man. This is smart and it's articulate. It's in Sagittarius. Now, because he's born on December 4th and has a Saturn retrograde in Taurus in the 8th house. So Saturn retrograde instantly, automatically removes the father's influence from your life. Now, what do I mean by that? It can mean you have a working father who does not have time to come home and spend time with the kids. It can mean that your father's locked up in jail. It can mean that your father has no interest in being a father and or karmically wasn't told he was the father of you. So it can bring about so much in a person's chart. But the person who owns the Saturn retrograde, meaning the person with Saturn retrograde in their chart, it basically opens them up to the idea that they walk alone without the support of the father figure, whomever it is. It doesn't mean other people don't step in, all of that. But the father of origin, the birth father, is absent, and subsequent fathers after are absent. The 4th of the month, every month, all the way from January, all the way through to Pisces, like beginning of the year to the end of the year, which is December, actually, not Pisces, from Aries to Pisces. I was doing from the 1st of the year. Anyway, Aries is actually the 1st of the year. We know this, but they screw with us with the calendar. Anyway, from Aries to Pisces, anybody born on the 4th of the month is absent a father figure. And as a result of, makes their own.
Honestly, You shouldn't buy this book because once you do, you'll never look at your medicine cabinet the same way again. Let me explain. This isn't your typical herbal book. It's a manual. Digestion issues? Flip to the gut section. You'll find ginger plus peppermint tea. Boil, sip, and watch the bloat.
Creative expression, if they are male, as what they are supposed to be. So they pattern themselves over somebody else's energy, paternally or father figure wise. Saturn retrograde adds to that. So we have a 4 and we have a Saturn retrograde. Then when we have Saturn in Taurus, oh my God. Okay, so Saturn is ruled by Capricorn naturally, or rules Capricorn, which is an earth sign, rules the 10th house. When you have Saturn in another earth sign, and especially Taurus, which they say rules Venus, but I actually believe rules the earth. So what we do here on earth. So when you have Saturn in Taurus, okay, in the 8th house, this is earthly pleasures. Earthly pleasures, Saturn in the 8th is often a significant factor, and it's retrograde in the abuse of a child. Okay, so Saturn in the 8th.
Oh.
They are privy to things that they shouldn't be sexually, financially, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, okay, that they should not be privy to early on in life. And with Saturn in Taurus, and then Venus in Scorpio with Neptune, this would be something that was presented to him probably around the age of 6, looking at his chart, if this is the chart that is actually his. It's so hard to know because they just, whatever. So that's just a basic outline of the chart. Now, when you look at Beyonce's chart, I have it written down somewhere there. When you look at Beyonce's chart, Beyonce has a Scorpio moon. That Scorpio moon sits right in between his Neptune and his Venus. So on an emotional level, she's willing to play into the delusion that he presents to her, if you would like to word it that way, which I'm going to word it that way. And then we have Sun in Virgo. So her sun, she's born on September 4th, her sun in 1981, her sun in Virgo sits literally on his ascendant. So she is looking for the expression of that kind of man. And because his Pluto is conjuncting her sun, which sits on his ascendant, he is in control of her, whether she thinks so or not, whether she's the moneymaker or not. Shake your moneymaker, she is the moneymaker. He is the one procuring the moneymaker out in public. So she was handed off to him. This was a buyout deal, so to speak. So we have that. We have her with a 20-degree Libra ascendant, which puts his moon and Uranus onto her ascendant, okay? Like literally. So these two are together like this, like they fit. Jagged edges, piece of puzzle, they fit. They actually fit together. That's why when I saw online the Pisces rising, I'm like, it's not Pisces rising. That could flip it to the 7th house, but he's more like a 1st house Pluto in Virgo if I saw one. He's blunt, straightforward, speaks like, you know, directly speaks the way that he speaks. Now, what do I see happening with him energetically? I see the next 3 years. So we are in 2024. This is whatever month this is. This is March, the beginning of 2024. So we are headed for the next 3 years, 25, 26, and 27, with the beginning initial stages of the knockdown when it comes to Jay-Z. He is not next in line. He is second to next in line. I get a real kind of focus between him, Chris Brown, and MC Hammer. Okay, so they're kind of all coming around and they're all linked. We know P. Diddy's going down. So, and that was said by his ex-wife, and that video I did last June. But Jay-Z is a different story because he's still attached to a hierarchy which encompasses financial, political, and just basically public. So he's not absolutely going to be taken down yet. The next 3 years, yes, there are steps where if he doesn't fall into line, he is going to be shaken up. Now, what I do see 3 years from now, him, his wife, and his kid. I don't know if there's more than one kid. There might be more than one kid. I can't remember with everybody who has kids, but anyway, him, his kid, and his wife, I see them with suitcases, and I literally see them leaving. So their residence will no longer be in the United States. This is what I'm seeing. And this happens by 2027, if not sooner, 2025 through 2027. There is a leaving of the energy here, and there is a flipping of his personality. So what I'm seeing is a complete shift in his personality. So what does that mean? It means that on a representative way, so how I present myself outwardly, this changes. So now I change my tune.
This episode of the Oprah podcast is presented by Walmart. Do you feel that it is obviously your training, obviously the work, but there's also something watching you is like something divine is also happening?
I've felt that from the moment I started dancing, that it has been something that I've needed. It's been a part of my survival. It's been a part of the way that I've escaped, so much adversity throughout my life.
Put on another mask and I present myself outwardly in a different fashion. He thinks he can escape by doing that. If I present myself this way, the public will see me this way and nothing will happen to me. Now, he's definitely 100% energetically connected to the different hierarchies on the other side. So this man understands metaphysical principles, occult principles, how to use those principles, and how to move through different layers of energy himself. No questions asked. The reason that he is in the music industry is because of his finely tuned ability to walk a line between what you and I see and where they go, which is different, which is why they have a different lifestyle than us. It's not because they're better or more creative. Understand what you're looking at when you see somebody like Jay-Z is somebody who took an opportunity, Saturn in Taurus, okay, retrograde. Somebody who took an opportunity to step out of a comfort zone and into one that they thought, and this is a greed level. I want fame, I want success, I want money. It's not just I'm a businessman. And he is using his queen, which is Queen B, Beyonce, to help him maneuver in that fashion. But it's interesting because what I see is the wax is melting on the candle. So that tells me something as I'm saying it, that these two engage in ritual expression, involved with fire, candle magic, which is really kind of novice. Like there's higher levels. Candle magic is a novice beginner way to manipulate energy, but I'm seeing them melt like wax candles. So the facade that they both have and that their family has is actually crumbling right now. You will see it within 3 years. There are legal troubles for Jay-Z that come up in November, and they come attached to another person, but not a person that you actually think, which would be P. Diddy spilling the beans as he gets dragged into court. No, it's not P. Diddy. It is somebody else. And I'm kind of swinging around to Justin Bieber. Like I'm looking at the people up there, and I'm kind of torn between Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. But I'm going the Justin Bieber way here because Bieber is involved in this sideways. Okay, so there's a sideways connection to Bieber, which I'm sure they're all in the industry, different forms of expression, but they're all in the industry. So this makes sense to me. And then when I look at Jay-Z and Beyonce, I see the fading on the candle. The wax is melting. They are what we would consider to be high-level government experiments. I'm going to put it that way. It doesn't start off that way. But that's what they are. That's the cat jumping in for her opinion. She feels like she needs to talk. Anyway, their expression is this is a government operation, and it's no longer working. So their Jay-Z will be brought back and remolded in a different form. So they really have no ability to control the outcome of what is going to be happening. Okay, this is ridiculous. Cat, hold on. Get down. Come on, get down. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, she's gone. She's gone. She's not going to distract me over there, stalking me for lunch. Anyhow, the government, okay, and it is a government or it is a authoritative takedown of they're switching midline of what they feel people want to hear or what people want to have happen. So they are taking their public people and they are saying, okay, we take these people and we're going to reinvent them so they're more palatable in a different way. Only thing is, it's not going to be more palatable. So I am seeing the face of Jay-Z and Beyonce kind of shifting in the next 3 years. So by 2027, they no longer wield the public power that you think they do, and they will have to approach you in a different way. Now, on an energetic level, what I'm being told about Jay-Z is that he has investments in all kinds of mind technology, aka Elon Musk. But I'm not sure it's through Elon Musk. It's in other countries, other kinds of capital venture towards the controlling of the human mindset. He has allowed portions of what he chooses to do in his life into a consciousness center where people can tap into being him. So it's almost a robotic stance where you yourself can put the goggles on and learn how to live Jay-Z's life. He's agreed to do this. So he's kind of a captive, but in a public form, and has no cognitive or conscious awareness of this. That's a weird thing to say, but that's just the way, that's the energy I'm picking up on. No conscious awareness of what's going on around him. Also, keep in mind, they are very much, and here's what I'm getting. I am getting both Jay-Z and Beyonce, because see, he procures her out there. He is her handler, and he is the one that pushes her out there public, and then he profits off her. So we're looking at, and I don't care how much talent you think they have. I don't care how much talent you think they have. She was chosen for him. It is a karmic thing looking at their chart, but she was chosen for him in order to help him get where he needed to go. So she's the muse, but let's use this in a different way. Sometimes we use the word muse in the terms of profiteering off of it. He's very aware of entertainers, male and female, where he needs to go to keep his money coming in and what he's actually selling. Now, this connects him to R. Kelly, high level pimping and pandering for the music industry through the trafficking. My camera cut off when I said trafficking, through the trafficking of human beings. Okay, so I'm going to put that out there in that fashion. You, me, them, we're going to start seeing through the veil when it comes to Jay-Z, and within 3 years, public favor is removed. Now, he's not the first one to go down behind P. Diddy, but he's a close second. So it's a combination that's coming after him. And when they take him down, they're going to take Beyonce down behind him. And it's going to start crumbling. Okay, so it's the next 3 years. On an energy level, what this is it is, understand, when you do occultist high level, and Jay-Z is a high level occultist, as is Beyonce. When you're involved in high level entity conjuring, which they are, when you're involved in that kind of high level type of giving yourself over to those energies, you are not really in control of what happens after a certain point. Like, no matter what anybody says, no matter how big and strong and special they think they are, when you let something into your body and you think you can control it, that's because they've let you think that you can control it, not that you can control it, okay? So when you're looking at that, I want you to understand that there is a point in time where people become known and are pushed in the direction where they can no longer get into the physical vessel or the husk. They're kind of like husky. Now, this brings me to another weird energy. When I'm looking, okay, when I'm looking at the children of a lot of celebrity people, I realize
you ain't trying to freeze your hands off this winter, these gloves might be for you. Not only are they waterproof, they're thermal heated with polyester fiber, which can...
that these are, I'll use the word synthetics, but they act synthetic. I'm not saying they're not human. I'm just saying synthetically inclined. I can't read the energy. And if I can't read the energy as a barometer, if I can't look at you in the eyes and read your energy and see what you're doing, then there is something that is blocking me from doing so. And now it can be a block by them, but it can also be because they come from a different origin source, okay? So what they've done in our societies, they've gotten us so used to in vitro and having babies in test tubes. Do we really know if someone chooses to do that in a higher echelon, the elite as they call them, in a higher echelon, do we really know exactly what is going to happen with those creations? Because we don't. And Jay-Z and Beyonce are kind of at that level where we're not really sure where that energy came from. Whatever, it's blocked. Now they can put a protection spell around their kid. And if I were them, I would, because the public is also crazy. Okay. So the public.
So what y'all think? I believe her. Okay? Sure do. I think exactly what she says, or some version of what she's saying is going to happen, or is happening, is actually happening. That's my opinion. I'm just the messenger, honey. It ain't me. I ain't do it. All right, let's keep rocking.
Can be crazy and they can be crazy. When I look at this though, I see and am inclined to think that there's a lot more going on. There's a lot of substituting of energy with these two, and there's a lot of moving in the direction. And if you've ever been backstage at a concert and you watch people perform, when they come back into their physical vessel, their body, from being out of their body while they're performing, it's quite a sight. And I have seen it personally. I'm not with Beyonce and Jay-Z, but I have seen it personally. It's quite a sight to see someone come back into the physical after being out of the physical. The reason that they're out of the physical is so that they can harness powerful energy to entice people who are watching, which is what these guys are doing. Now, having said that, I get Jay-Z connected to Clive Davis, connected to P. Diddy. And so there's a succession of things happening. Clive is old right now, so he's probably next in line, but I'm kind of shooting off with Chris Brown, and then I'm shooting off with Justin Bieber, and then I'm kind of going to MC Hammer. Like, it's happening. These people are being used on different levels to take other people's money, clean it, move things all about the country under the guise of their creative talents. Now, Jay-Z, this is going to come to a screeching halt. Screeching halt. Russell Simmons pops up in the conversation, okay? In the conversation. So I have not heard head nor tail of Russell Simmons. He pops right in right now for months. I mean, he went off somewhere and who the hell knows where he went. Those words, that hiding, will come to play in the future months. We're going to see conversation from Russell Simmons. It's either behind the scenes, something that is going to bring about a change in how the public looks at Jay-Z. There's like all kinds of things going on. He has a target directed at him because people want him found out. Beyonce does as well. This is what they're doing. Changing the candle wax, upping the game, upping the ante. The energy is very, very odd, but this is what I feel. So it's 3 years, and then in the year 2036, it no longer exists. He is a expression of his former self, and that former self is contained in such a way that we don't recognize it, and it doesn't have the power that it wields right now. So we are in a long line of circumstances happening right now with a takedown, and it's just waiting for them to be taken down, and they've been promised otherwise. They have been promised otherwise. They, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all of the other ones I mentioned, but this is about Jay-Z, they are in the process. Now, what I am seeing is Jay-Z's beginning, okay? So the succession of being unraveled in the next 3 years starts with a burglary of something. So Jay-Z is in the process of having some connection to missing burglarized items, and it's going to come up around him. That's the first marker. And I'm not sure what it is he steals. I don't know if this is a stolen song, a stolen item, a stolen car. I don't know what it is, but it is a burglary of something. I have stolen, and now I'm being accused of taking this. And that is the beginning of it, because they will start nosing around with him. So there's like a lot of nosing around. It's in the theft of something. And by theft, I don't quite know what I mean by that, but it's by the theft of something. And when you
eat protein and you eat enough of it, it literally makes you build muscle. But what people don't know works even better than protein is what protein breaks down into when you eat it. And that is essential amino acids. Essential amino acids directly are more
when you look at that, it just draws attention to him, and they don't like attention drawn to them. I also feel, forgive me for saying this, I sound really weird, but I also feel that when they sleep at night, they sleep in coffins. So what do I mean by that? They sleep not like you and I, they sleep in a different way, and they don't sleep till we get up. So there's a whole other shift in energy. If you were to get, they're like underground. Maybe that's what I want to say. It's an underground energy that is not observed by most people on this planet. So the behavior is beneath the surface. And that is part of what is going to be their unraveling. It's very weird energy, and I'm like all over the place again, but that is going to be the unraveling, is that they are connected energetically to a different source. And I see them connected through the solar plexus. So they hang, okay? So hang, like from the stomach, hang, like when you rise up out of the body, meaning they're not presently grounded in their physical body. I'm talking Jay-Z. Not grounded, but of course his wife, because the two are synonymous. But through the solar plexus, and so puppeteered out like that. So the behavior of them is completely controlled, and it's going to start unraveling. We give them way too much power. They're controlled by other entities around them. There is something with Justin Bieber coming up that's going to drag Jay-Z down the rabbit hole with him. So we have this connection like this, and it's going to go down, down, down. It's more of a procuring issue rather than like fundamentally hands-on issue.
Alrighty, let's get to the second video. Wrong thing. Stop screen. Let me share my screen. All right, let's get into it. Did I push play?
Jay-Z and Beyonce have been one of the most iconic couples in Hollywood over the past couple of decades. For a long time, the majority of fans have loved them and aspired to have a relationship like theirs. But over the years, many conspiracy theories have followed them as well, especially recently with all of this stuff that has come out against Diddy. However, the dark and disturbing conspiracy theories have followed them ever since their relationship began in 2001. After meeting each other in the year 2000, Jay-Z and Beyonce began dating in 2001, when Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, which was already a little strange right off the bat. Regardless, both of them were already fairly successful as artists. Jay-Z had multiple successful albums out, had hit the Billboard charts a few times, and had also worked with artists like Mariah Carey, Biggie, and Kanye. He also created his record label Rockefeller Records. Around the same time, Beyonce was coming up with Destiny's Child, and they also had their fair share of chart-topping hits. And despite the crazy amount of success that they already had, as I'm sure most of you guys know, they went on to become some of the biggest artists ever. With Jay-Z becoming a huge music mogul aside from his personal success as an artist, I mean, Jay-Z's been called the greatest rapper of all time by multiple publications, and Beyonce has been named one of the greatest vocalists and entertainers of all time as well. So these two were destined to become a power couple, and that's exactly what they became. The two have collaborated on multiple songs over the years, which helped both of their careers. Jay-Z has released iconic albums like The Blueprint and 444. He's also had many successful business ventures over the years, with his companies like Rockaware and the 4040 Club, along with his acquisition of Tidal. On top of that, Rockefeller has helped to produce artists like Kanye, Cameron, Beanie Siegel, Jadakiss, and more. Because of all of this, Jay-Z became hip-hop's first billionaire and most recently has an estimated net worth of $2.5 billion. He's one of the best-selling artists of all time and has won 24 Grammys. On the flip side, Beyonce has put out tons of extremely successful albums and is the only woman in history to have 20 top 10 songs as a solo artist and 10 as a member of a group. She, like Jay-Z, is also one of the best-selling artists of all time, selling over 200 million copies, and she's also won 32 Grammys. Jay-Z and Beyonce got married in 2008. Their first child was born in 2012, and they had twins in 2017.
The government is banning this $29 AI dog next month, and this is your last shot to get the original lifelike version. There's a new next-gen AI companion dog on the market, and it's so lifelike that people...
Because of their immense success and their success stories and all of that, their relationship has been coveted by the public for quite a while. It's clear that they were a power couple, as they were two of the most successful artists and business people of all time when it came to Hollywood. And when you are this powerful and successful, you are bound to have some conspiracy theories following you around. For years, one of the main theories was that Jay-Z and Beyonce were members of the Illuminati. This theory, of course, was supported by very shaky evidence, at least at its inception. For example, one of the main reasons was that Jay-Z and Beyonce would throw up a triangle symbol, which, if you remember, a decade ago was heavily associated with the Illuminati and the all-seeing eye. I mean, back in middle school, I remember every meme was like Illuminati confirmed with the X-Files music and the triangle in the background. In reality, though, this hand sign is supposed to be a diamond that references his label Rockefeller, because a diamond is a rock, if you know what I mean. So a lot of people just call it throwing up the rock. Regardless, Jay and Beyonce throwing this up has raised eyes from theorists, especially when Beyonce threw that up during her Super Bowl performance in 2013. On top of that, some of their imagery in their music videos has also garnered some attention. For example, in the music video for Jay-Z's song On to the Next One, there's imagery like crucifixes and skulls that resemble Baphomet, which many people think is referencing the Illuminati or Jay-Z selling a soul to the devil. And Beyonce has also been suspected of this stuff for similar reasons. For example, some people believe that playing her song Single Ladies backwards reveals a bunch of meanings like the world will bow to me, people's tears will fall. I mean, some of the comments on this video just go to show how many crazy things people were thinking. And I'm going to interject my opinion here real quick. When you play a song backwards and someone tells you what to hear, you're probably going to hear that thing. That's just how your brain works, and it's kind of like the whole Yanny and Laurel thing. So that's not good evidence at all. Regardless, for this and her other imagery, people thought she too was in the Illuminati. On top of all of that stuff, a lot of people point to this clip of Kanye calling out Jay-Z, asking Jay not to kill him, and instead asking Jay to call him.
I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro. Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
This clip was taken from Kanye's notorious St. Pablo tour, where he said a lot of other crazy and controversial things, all of which led to him canceling multiple shows and going to a mental health hospital. Kanye has since claimed that they, or a group of elites, possibly involved with Jay-Z, have had him medicated under the guise of bipolar disorder to keep him quiet. And to be entirely fair to this part of the theory, the text messages from Kanye's trainer are definitely very strange. And this wasn't the last time that Kanye had spoke on Jay-Z either, as more recently he talked about the elites controlling him.
They can control Shaq, they can control Charles Barkley, they can control LeBron James, they can control Jay-Z and Beyonce, I know you, man.
But they can't control me.
No,
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves because Kanye's comments really fueled these conspiracy theories about Jay-Z back in 2016. It got to the point where both Jay-Z and Beyonce commented on the Illuminati stuff, with Jay-Z saying on the song Freemason, "I said that I was a Mason, not that I'm a Mason." He also said, "Am I down with the devil because my roof come up missing? Is that Lucifer juice in that 2-cup he's sipping?" Basically, he was saying that people were pinning his success on his ties to a group like the Illuminati, or suggesting that he sold his soul to the devil, and clearly he doesn't agree with this stuff. Beyonce also said in one of her songs, "Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess." Regardless, these theories of Jay-Z and Beyonce belonging to a group of shady elites have evolved even further today, with many people suggesting that they were up to even darker practices, more so than just putting weird symbols in their music videos, which brings us back to the beginning of their relationship in 2001. At this point in the video, I do want to say a lot of this stuff I'm going to be talking about is just conspiracy theories and the stuff I have talked about. There really isn't much solid proof for a lot of what I'm going to say. And I'm saying this because a lot of the things they're accused of are extremely serious, and I don't want to be the guy who just levies random accusations with no basis. And I'm not telling you guys what to think. I'm not saying that none of this is true or none of it isn't true, but I just want to give you guys the actual facts so that you can make your own decisions and conclusions. You'll see why I'm saying this here in a second. And this is because one of the main theories lately that's being suggested about Beyonce is that she's some sort of evil mastermind who wants to control and dominate the female music industry. At least that's kind of what people seem to be getting at, so let me explain. Back when people were accusing the couple of being members of the Illuminati, they also made darker assumptions that Beyonce was linked to the death of the rising singer Aaliyah. Rolling Stone said, "The far reaches of the internet even link Beyonce's rise to fame with R&B singer Aaliyah's untimely death in 2001, with theorists claiming that Aaliyah was killed because she had tried to get out from under the Illuminati's control. According to that narrative, Aaliyah was meant to be the rightful queen of the music industry, but after her death, Beyonce stepped in to take her place." And this is the thing about these theories. Sometimes they include like the Illuminati, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just like the shady elites. And I think in general, they're interchangeable. Theorists have also pointed to J. Cole's song She Knows from 2013 when he referenced Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Left Eye, one of the members of TLC who tragically passed away in a car crash in 2002. And while the mention doesn't have any direct correlation to the theory on the song, people often point out how both Aaliyah and Left Eye, supposed competitors of Beyonce around that time, passed away in 2001.
My name is Scott Harrison.
Just listen.
This is my wife, my son, and my one on the way. I lead an organization called Charity Water, and our mission is to bring clean water to everyone on the planet. I live in New York City now, but I didn't always. I grew up in suburbia, and this was my house. My dad was a businessman, and my mom was a writer. They loved each other, and they loved me. We were a happy family, until we weren't. When I was 4 years old, my mom collapsed on the bedroom floor. We'd just moved into a new house, and our house had a carbon monoxide gas leak, but none of us knew it until then. She didn't die that day, but her immune system did. She became allergic to everything. Perfume, the ink from books, radio waves. She wore strange masks all the time and was often connected to oxygen. The toxic gas destroyed her immune system, and in a way, my childhood too. After the poisoning, our roles reversed, and I began to take care of her. As the only child, I had to be a good one. I learned to cook, do laundry, and take care of the house. I was a good Christian kid who played piano in church and wanted to be a doctor when I grew up to help sick people like her. Until I turned 18. Music was my escape, so I joined a band and moved to New York.
Right about the time when the band broke up, I got involved in
2001 and 2002, respectively. This idea that Beyonce was now queen of the music industry has resurfaced recently with all of the P. Diddy stuff that's coming out, thanks to people like Cat Williams and Jaguar Wright, who are claiming that a lot of industry secrets are going to be exposed.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
With this idea in mind, a lot of people have been saying that female artists in particular are forced to thank Beyonce when they win awards, typically Grammys, out of fear. It may have something to do with the fact that Beyonce, despite winning 32 Grammys, has yet to win Album of the Year. But people online have been putting together these compilations of artists thanking Beyonce.
The artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album to me. We adore you. You are our light.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
It's a bit strange if you ask me.
One of the best videos of all time.
Beyonce.
Say thank you to Beyonce. Just felt like we could just community safe.
Beyonce, woo, thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives.
Thank you, Beyonce. You're amazing. Yeah.
The fact that Beyonce made a country record changed the game.
Beyonce and I started out around the same time, and just like all of her fans, I fell in love with her.
Again, these theories so far don't hold much weight and are just speculation, especially because of what people think may happen if the artists don't thank her. For example, there was a tweet posted to Twitter with nearly 600,000 likes from the artist Sia. The tweet reads, "Baby, everything your own nice cat eats, kangaroo is dead, nowhere and purple penguins every day, my egg." Which obviously doesn't make any sense, but it spells out Beyonce kidnapped me if you take the first letter of each word. To be fair though, this tweet is fake, it was photoshopped, and it became a meme. So far we've just looked at conspiracy theories that really don't seem to have any legs to them. But after P. Diddy was recently exposed and indicted, a lot of people have been making much more serious and somewhat grounded accusations against Jay-Z and Beyonce. People believe that over the years, Jay-Z's connections to R. Kelly and P. Diddy mean that he at the very least knew about some of the stuff they were up to, and possibly was even involved, especially when lawyers involved in Diddy's case right now are saying things like this.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
That lawyer even went on to say that there would be some eyebrow-raising names, which is why people think Jay-Z is involved. Diddy and Jay-Z have been friends since the 90s, when they were both going up in the music industry. They even collaborated on a track in 1997.
I see millionaires and minimum wage workers in the same hospital bed for the exact same reason. They waited too long.
Wait 3 weeks for a doctor when an app checks your liver instantly. Your doctor can't compete with this. 2 minutes at home. Results instantly.
On top of that, these two were connected to Aaliyah and R. Kelly, who were married when Aaliyah was only 15. Dame Dash, who co-founded Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and dated Aaliyah when she was actually of age, said he thought it was morally wrong for Jay-Z to do a collab album with R. Kelly when he did. Dame said, "It's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or anybody for that matter." He also said Jay-Z tried getting with Aaliyah too.
I guess Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then it got brought up, and I was like, "F for y'all." But it never worked out for them, and we were both like trying to get at her. I kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah. Obviously,
everybody was getting at Aaliyah, bro.
Right.
So there undoubtedly was some shady stuff going down in their circle, as both Diddy and R. Kelly were friends with Jay, and it's possible Jay knew some of the stuff that was going down. By 2007, Jay-Z and Diddy had been friends for a while, and at a performance at Screamfest, Diddy could be seen smacking Jay's butt a couple of times. Now, I personally don't think this holds that much weight in these theories like some other people do. Lots of friends tend to joke with each other like this, but to be fair, Diddy has been a little bit liberal in some of his jokes. However, 50 Cent took this as an opportunity Diddy, as he always does, to clown on the two. It's hard to say how good of friends Diddy and Jay-Z are, but they have been seen together hanging out over the years plenty, so it's safe to assume they are at the very least well acquainted. That's why when all of this news began coming out against Diddy lately, people pointed out how quiet Jay-Z was. Also, if you're unaware of what happened with Diddy somehow, I made a whole video on it, so you guys can check that out if you want to. But basically, Diddy was caught trafficking, racketeering, essaying multiple people, and things along those lines. He was indicted and actually has over 100 lawsuits against him. So Jay-Z's silence on this matter has had a lot of people looking at him sideways. 50 Cent even made a joke about it, as he always does, on his Instagram saying, "Anybody seen Jay?" Puff said he ain't been answering his phone. He's commented more in interviews saying that people who aren't talking about it are probably scared because they were involved.
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right? I know
He did
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
So this is
all I'm gonna say is if 50 Cent somehow mysteriously goes into a coma or has a headache, someone gives him some sort of headache medicine, and then he go into a coma for 3 months, then I'm just looking in the direction of Jay. Now, I wasn't there. Listen, I don't know none of these people. I wasn't there. Just my opinion.
Why many people have been pointing the finger at Jay-Z and Beyonce, suspecting they had some sort of involvement in the Diddy situation. Things got even more serious in the past 2 weeks when Piers Morgan had Jaguar Wright, a singer who's worked with Jay-Z, on his show to discuss the Diddy situation. During this interview, she brought up her opinion on Jay-Z and Beyonce's suspected involvement.
Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail, get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
To be clear, I couldn't find any articles that said that Jay-Z funded this docuseries, although I did see a few articles saying that Jay-Z declined to be interviewed for the show. She also said in this interview that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who do nasty things. Now, before I tell you what followed, I do think it's important to explain to you who Jaguar Wright is. Like I said, she's a singer who, despite putting out her own solo music, is probably most known for working with people like Jay-Z and The Roots. In the past 5 or so years, she has been making headlines quite often for making a variety of claims, like saying that Mary J. Blige is hiding her true sexuality, and she accused Common of essaying her, which got to the point where Common had to step in and make a statement.
We say this, man, God bless Jaguar. I really don't have any negative thoughts towards her. I was for surely disappointed and hurt when she said what she said about me because it wasn't true. And I know people that have experienced assault, and that's not anything to just say if it's not true. But I also just understand that she may be going through some things that I don't understand.
If no one ever taught you how to manage your money, or you're secretly ashamed of where you're at financially, this is for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. And this might be the
Over the years, she's made a ton of claims, and in 2020 had an interview with Real Life Productions that has over 2 million views where she is making tons of similar claims. And based on the reception, it looks like a ton of people believe her. In 2022, she even made the claim that Diddy forced a singer to perform fellatio on him. And keep in mind, this was over a year before people were constantly coming out with similar claims about P. Diddy. So there's two things that could be happening here. Jaguar Wright could have a deep knowledge of the music industry and its darkest secrets, or she could just be making as many accusations accusations and claims as possible, and occasionally getting some of them right. Someone on Reddit said she might be right about some of the stuff regarding Diddy, but I'm guessing a lot of it was already known in the music industry. And even a broken clock like Jaguar Wright is right twice a day. And similar to this person's perspective, many people in the actual music industry have written her off as mentally ill. Recently, she was arrested in Dallas for property theft totaling between $30,000 and $150,000 and claimed it was due to her speaking out, according to Vibe. So that's the important background information about Jaguar Wright. And after she went on Piers Morgan and made those claims about Jay-Z and Beyonce, she started a fire. It got to the point that Piers Morgan was reached out to by Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyers. The lawyer said, Piers Morgan's irresponsible broadcast filled with lies is so far over the line that a legal ultimatum was warranted. Nobody acting under the guise of journalism can elicit outrageous statements from exploitative situations in an effort to drive clicks and not have to answer for that. Because of this, Piers Morgan apologized and trimmed a segment from his show.
Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologize to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Again, there are two ways to take this. Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't want crazy and disrespectful misinformation like this on the internet, or they really did what Jaguar was saying, so they wanted to keep it quiet. Regardless, this only made the situation bigger. And the same day that Piers apologized, Jaguar again went on Real Life Productions for another interview. Again, she was stirring the pot and made an hour's worth of more huge claims, and also spoke on the theory that Jay-Z and Beyonce were involved in the death of Aaliyah.
I want you to think. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Allegedly.
This TikTok in particular got 15 million views with damn near every comment saying they believe her. Whether or not you believe Jaguar Wright's claims is entirely up to you, but she's been making headlines almost daily for some of the stuff she's saying. More recently, there was a guy named Jason Lee, a podcaster slash YouTuber slash TV guy who was in things like Love and Hip Hop, created Hollywood Unlocked, and has his own podcast called The Jason Lee Show. He made some big claims. He said on his podcast that Jay-Z called him to put out the flames. And he also said, Jay-Z, I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You got people calling me. Call me yourself because this right here is going to go viral. I will tell you to the audience, if I do come up missing, all the calls I've been getting have been about him. Although I will say that not too many people believe this guy. Someone said risking your life getting killed over some gossip is crazy, LOL. And many others said things like, Jason, nobody believes you. If attention seeking was an actual person, this would be it. Regardless, these theories have been going crazy all over the internet. And with all the clickbaity 40-minute videos that say absolutely nothing, I figured I'd summarize it and give you guys the facts. Beyonce has even lost a couple million followers this year, and many believe it's due to the controversy. Well, others think that it's just Instagram getting rid of inactive or botted accounts. So whether you love Jay-Z and Beyonce or you think they are secretly super evil, it's possible that regardless of what you believe, Jay-Z and Beyonce may not be who you think they are. If you're curious about what other celebrities have said about Diddy or
they are who they present to be. We're going to stop it here. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Go ahead, click that like button, subscribe button. Like the content you're receiving, and then tell me what you guys think about Beyonce and Jay-Z. What do you think about what Sloan Bella said? You know, she said by 2036, and that's about 10 years from now. The Jay-Z and Beyonce power that they have now won't be the same. That's what she said. I don't know. I wasn't there. Anyway, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and remember, everything on Chanel's Reality is alleged, is in my opinion, is for entertainment purposes only. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.